Alright, if you're Christian or Catholic in any way, I don't think this is going to be the video for you. I'm an alternative girly who doesn't really believe in God, and today is about to reflect as such. Don't worry, I'll see you next time. If you're still kicking, hey, welcome. Here's my dilemma today. I don't really find the devil scary at all, so how about we take this from the point of view of a Catholic and laugh about all the immoral things together. Yeah, I thought you'd enjoy that too. Come on everybody, let's get cracking. I'll start off today with the biggie. The devil is a cult leader, which is honestly pretty rich coming from God, the man who demands celibacy, absolute devotion, reproduction, and heteronormativity. And by the way, he's gonna strike you down or curse you forever if you mess up a single one of his rules. You can beg for forgiveness, but there's no guarantee you'll make it to the good place. Time to turn to the devil, where the fear intensifies when the infernal adversary not only embodies cosmic malevolence, but also exerts a charismatic influence, luring followers into a web of darkness. Yeah, I'm gonna swoon a little bit, don't mind me. The devil as a cult leader taps into our primal fears of manipulation and susceptibility to charismatic authority. So cults, historically anchored in real world events, often revolve around a magnetic figure who promises enlightenment or salvation. So if you look at the devil with his seductive charm, he becomes the ultimate cult leader, exploiting vulnerabilities and preying on the human inclination to seek purpose and meaning. Seeking purpose and meaning. Sounds like somebody else we know. The devil's allure as a charismatic cult leader lies in the promise of power and transcendence. This figure, draped in malevolence, becomes a beacon for those disenchanted with the mundane and desperate for a sense of belonging. The fear stems not just from the devil's own wickedness, but from the insidious influence he wields over those who willingly submit to his leadership. Well, he still sounds better than God to me. So if we're looking at the devil as a cult leader, he represents the embodiment of forbidden knowledge and the allure of the taboo. The fear is not just of the devil himself, but of the darkness within, the potential for individuals to be swayed by promises of enlightenment, even at the cost of moral compromise. The devil exploits the human desire for transcendence, weaving a narrative that entices followers into the depths of, you guessed it, malevolence. Furthermore, the devil's role as said leader amplifies the fear of societal disintegration. Cults often operate on the fringes of established norms, challenging the fabric of social order. Now, the devil, with his ability to amass followers, represents a subversion of societal values, a force capable of sowing discord and chaos. The fear lies in the potential unraveling of the moral tapestry that kind of binds everything together. Now, the devil's charisma, as said leader, also taps into the fear of losing individual agency. The allure of belonging to something greater, even if diabolical, becomes a potent force. So followers, ensnared by the devil's charisma, willingly surrender their autonomy, succumbing to a collective will that may lead them down a path of moral degradation. Look, I'm seeing a lot of comparisons with God here. Anybody else? You're gonna surrender your autonomy for a higher god? Okay, so if he's a cult leader that's all charismatic, how does he look? Like, am I gonna swoon for him like I swoon for the Phantom of the Opera, Grave Robber, the Goblin King? Look, I'm fully aware my taste in men is questionable, so to quote Chad Gable, shoosh please. The devil is often depicted as a horned, cloven-hooved, and menacing figure, and embodies an archetype that has transcended religious narratives to become a universal symbol of fear to most folks. What's truly terrifying though about the devil's appearance is not merely the physical traits attributed to him, but the symbolism woven into every facet of his image. Let's go through it, shall we? So the devil's horns, an enduring symbol of his defiance and rebellion, evoke a primal fear deeply rooted in our collective psyche. So horns are historically associated with power and dominance in the animal kingdom, and they take on a malevolent resonance when transposed onto the devil. They represent a perversion of the natural order, a corruption of the regal, and a manifestation of rebellion against divine authority. Well, no wonder my mother used to say, my horns are showing whenever I misbehaved. The cloven hooves further amplify the terror. So hooves are a stark departure from human anatomy, and they evoke a sense of otherness, an uncanny merging of human and bestial elements. This hybrid nature is kind of unsettling, challenging our understanding of the boundaries between the human and the monstrous. These hooves, which are strikingly incongruent with human form, kind of blur the lines between the familiar and the grotesque. Yes, I'm going on and on, but trust me, it's worth it. Now, the devil's wings, often depicted as bat-like, only serve to reinforce the fear of the supernatural. Wings, which are typically associated with angels and divine beings, become instruments of darkness when adorning the devil. The juxtaposition of celestial imagery with diabolical intent accentuates the cosmic horror associated with the devil's presence. There we go again with the celestial imagery. Now, if we want to talk about biblical angels, those buggers are terrifying. Alright, his tail, a serpentine appendage, harkens back to the biblical serpent in the Garden of Eden, intertwining themes of temptation and deceit. The sinuous nature of the tail, coiling around the devil's form, signifies a subtle and insidious influence, weaving its way into the very fabric of everything we know. Now, his visage, with its leering expression and malevolent eyes, pierces through the veneer of normalcy. Those eyes are often portrayed as fiery orbs, and they radiate an otherworldly intensity that, kind of scares some people. They're the window to an abyss, reflecting the darkness within and kind of going, are you scared yet? I'm not. In essence, what makes the devil's appearance truly frightening isn't the sum of his physical attributes, but the symbolic weight they carry. Each element, we're talking the horns, the hooves, the wings, the tail, it all comes together to create an image that kind of scares the heck out of some people. It's more a collective fear that encompasses the perversion of the Catholic natural order, the allure of rebellion, the ominous presence of the supernatural. Yeah, none of that's a turn off for me. Anybody else? I'm all for the perversion of the Catholic natural order. Okay, you know what's actually scary? How the devil got thrown out of hell for questioning authority. The origins of this guy are as convoluted as they are chilling. Now, this character, the devil, he's a figure that's entrenched in religious and cultural narratives and finds his roots in a tapestry woven with threads of myth, theology, and folklore. To truly understand his origins, one must navigate the intricate corridors of various religious texts, since they tend to differ depending on what you believe. So let's start with Christianity, where the devil emerges from the biblical narrative as a fallen angel named Lucifer. His rebellion against God and subsequent expulsion from heaven cast him into the role of the ultimate adversary, a malevolent force diametrically opposed to divine order. Now, beyond Christianity, the devil transcends religious boundaries, finding echoes in diverse mythologies. So, for example, in Islamic traditions, the devil, known as Iblis, refused to bow to Adam, incurring divine wrath and exile. This narrative aligns with the Christian concept of Lucifer's rebellion, illustrating the universality of the archetype across religious spectra. Now, the devil's origins intertwine with pre-Christian pagan beliefs, where the deities of the underworld embodied dualistic qualities, both destructive and regenerative. The devil, with his dark allure, draws upon these primordial images, becoming a manifestation of humanity's inherent fear of the unknown and the uncontrollable. So at the end of the day, all I'm getting here is that he challenges authority and the status quo, which are all things that should be challenged in the first place. If we were all the same, the world would be a very boring place. Cultural adaptations and reinterpretations further shape the devil's origins. Literature, art, folklore, they all contribute layers to the narrative, transforming the devil into a really complex symbol. The Faustian bargain, a recurring motif in literature, encapsulates the idea of making deals with the devil for personal gain, underscoring the allure of forbidden power. Now, the devil's origins, whether traced through religious doctrines or cultural expressions, kind of reflect humanity's perennial fascination with the mysterious and the forbidden, which is still very much a thing. Now, if we're going to unravel these origins, you kind of confront the archetypal embodiment of rebellion, temptation, and the eternal struggle between good and evil. The devil, in all his multifaceted incarnations, becomes a mirror reflecting the depths of the human psyche and the eternal dance between light and shadow. Now, I'm a bit of a shadowy girl myself. Alright, now to get into the nitty-gritty, the bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, the abracadabra of it all, the devil's powers. Now, these powers are a malevolent arsenal, and they draw from the deepest recesses of our imagination and spiritual apprehension. Let's start with the devil's ability to tempt and corrupt. As we mentioned today, he's really good at getting people to follow him, do what he wants. Like a sinister maestro, he orchestrates the seduction of human souls, exploiting their vulnerabilities and weaknesses. This power manifests in a myriad of forms, from the subtle whispers of doubt to the grandiose allure of absolute power. Now, it's this insidious influence that renders the devil a master manipulator, that cult leader, that charismatic whodunit, weaving his web around the human psyche. See, this all ties back into the cult leader allegations. Closely tied to the power of temptation is the devil's dominion over chaos. In many cultural and religious narratives, he's the agent of disorder, sowing discord and upheaval. He's the big bad guy, you know? This power manifests in the unsettling unpredictability of the devil's actions, disrupting the natural order and plunging individuals into the abyss of uncertainty. The devil's power over the supernatural is another facet that elicits some questioning. From demonic possessions to the manipulation of dark energies, his influence extends beyond the tangible realm. The fear of the unknown, coupled with the dread of forces beyond human comprehension, only amplifies his mystique. Linked to his supernatural prowess is the power of deception. Now, the devil is often portrayed as a cunning trickster and can assume many different disguises and manipulate perceptions. This power of illusion adds an element of unpredictability, because you never know what you're looking at. Oh my gosh, it's the devil in disguise. Like, how much have you heard that? The concept of eternal damnation further magnifies the devil's powers. The ability to condemn souls to an unending abyss of suffering and torment creates an existential dread, tapping into the deepest fears of mortality and the unknown that reside all within our psyches. Okay, but God does the same thing all the time, and I'm much more afraid of him. In essence, what's truly terrifying about the devil's powers is their intangibility and omnipresence. It's the idea that the devil's influence can permeate every aspect of human existence, from the mundane to the metaphysical. It's that fear that, like, at any moment, the balance could tip, and you're gonna find yourself ensnared in the intricacies of a malevolent force. You know, that same force that spooks the heck out of you. I'm ending today with the real reason the devil is so scary to many. I'm gonna end today with the real reason why the devil is so scary to many, and that's because he challenges the status quo, if I haven't already gone over that plenty today. I once had a high school teacher say that religion is the opiate of the masses, and that's something that has stuck in my brain ever since. The devil is the anti-everything, and that scares people who are stuck in their small-minded ways. It implies not just dissent from societal norms, but a subversion of the very fabric of morality and order. So the devil, because he's the ultimate ignorant rebel. He's going to challenge all the established codes of conduct and, ask you to question what you know. At the heart of the fear is the destabilization of foundational beliefs. He's the embodiment of defiance. He wants everybody to abandon the comfort of conformity and embrace the allure of rebellion and individuality, which, kind of challenges the fundamental structures that societies build to maintain a semblance of order and coherence. Now, the devil, being who he is, he challenges those religious and moral frameworks that govern human behavior. By enticing individuals to question the righteousness of their actions and beliefs, he becomes a disruptive force, sowing seeds of doubt that can erode the very foundations of faith. Now, this existential crisis, born from the devil's challenge, strikes at the core of human identity. Also, the devil's challenge to the status quo is intrinsically linked to the concept of temptation. It's not just about questioning societal norms, but actively luring individuals into transgressions, which challenges the notions of self-discipline and moral fortitude, pushing individuals to grapple with their innermost desires and the consequences of succumbing to them. The fear surrounding the devil's challenge also stems from its association with chaos. By encouraging defiance and rebellion, the devil introduces an element of anarchy into the established order. This anarchy potential, when unleashed, kind of threatens to unravel the carefully woven tapestry of social contracts and norms that bind communities together. So, in essence, because I know I've spilled a lot of mumbo jumbo today, what's truly frightening about the devil challenging the status quo isn't just the act of defiance itself, but the far-reaching consequences it can unleash. It's the notion that by questioning established norms, the devil becomes a catalyst for a cascade of events that could reshape the very essence of human existence. And what's so wrong with that? Alright folks, that's the end of our time, and I'm gonna get out of here before I get crucified. I've been Alexa, your resident ooky spooky girly, and if you enjoyed my ramblings today, could you help us out by giving this video a like, subscribing if you aren't already, hit the bell for more devil worshipping from us here at Top 5 Scary Videos, and I'll see y'all next time, you lovely spooky people.